Commander Li Wu stood on the bridge of the Earthship Defender, watching the stars through the wide window. His hands were behind his back, and his face looked calm, but inside, he felt worried. The message from Earth Command still played in his mind. The aliens wanted Pyra. They wanted humans to leave the planet and give up all the valuable crystals there. "Sir," said Captain Kim So-ra as she walked up to him. Her pilot uniform was neat and clean. "The Storm Squadron is ready for orders." Li Wu turned to look at her. Kim So-ra was one of the best pilots in the human fleet. She was brave and smart, and her squadron never failed a mission. "How many ships do we have?" he asked. 42 combat ships, sir, plus the mining vessels on Pyra's surface." Kim So-ra's voice was steady, but Li Wu could see the concern in her eyes. Everyone knew the alien fleet was much bigger. The door to the bridge opened, and Engineer Park Jin walked in. He carried a tablet with new data. "Commander, I have the latest reports from our scouts. The Hegemony fleet has over 300 ships. They're moving toward Pyra from the outer system." Li Wu took the tablet and looked at the numbers. 300 ships against 42. The odds were terrible, but humans had faced bad odds before. He thought about the old wars on Earth, when smaller armies won against larger ones by being clever and fast. "What do we know about their weapons?" Li Wu asked. Park Jin touched the tablet screen. "Their ships have plasma cannons and energy shields. Very powerful, but they follow standard patterns. They like to fight in straight lines, ship against ship. Very formal, like a dance." Dr. Yu Nari joined them on the bridge. She was the fleet's expert on alien behavior. "Commander, I've been studying the Hegemony's war history. They always fight the same way. They line up their ships and attack directly. They think it's honorable to fight face to face." Li Wu smiled for the first time that day. "And they think we'll fight the same way." "Sir?" Kim So-ra looked confused. "They expect us to line up our ships and fight them properly. But we're human, we don't have to fight fair." Li Wu walked to the star map on the wall. "What's the current status on Pyra?" Sergeant Han Do-kyung's voice came through the communication system. He was on the planet's surface, leading the ground defense. "Commander, we have 2,000 soldiers protecting the mining stations. The crystals are still being extracted, but we can stop if needed." "Keep mining," Li Wu said. "We'll need those crystals, Dr. Yu. What else can you tell me about the Hegemony?" Dr. Yu Nari checked her notes. "They've ruled the galaxy for 300 years. No one has ever beaten them in a major battle. They think humans are weak because we're new to space. They call us a minor species." Li Wu's jaw tightened. Minor species. The aliens thought humans didn't matter. They thought this would be easy. "How long until they reach Pyra?" 2 days, sir," Park Jin said. "Good. That gives us time to prepare. Kim So-ra, I want you to take the Storm Squadron and hide near the asteroid field. Don't attack until I give the signal." "Hide, sir." Kim So-ra looked surprised. In her training, pilots always met the enemy head-on. "Trust me," Li Wu said. "Park Jin, I need you to look at our weapons. Can we modify them?" The engineer's eyes lit up. "What kind of modifications?" "The kind that will surprise our alien friends. Nothing that breaks our laws, but everything that makes them think twice about calling us minor." Admiral Choi Bin's image appeared on the main screen. He was calling from Earth millions of kilometers away. "Commander Lee, what's your plan?" "Admiral, we're going to show the Hegemony something they've never seen before. Human creativity. The Earth Council is worried, Commander. The Hegemony has never lost a battle. Maybe we should negotiate." Li Wu shook his head. "Sir, with respect, they don't want to negotiate. They want us to kneel. If we give them Pyra, they'll take other human worlds next. This is where we make our stand." Admiral Choi Bin was quiet for a moment. Then he nodded. "You have full authority, Commander. Do what you think is best." The communication ended. Li Wu looked around the bridge at his team. Kim So-ra stood ready for action. Park Jin was already thinking about weapon modifications. Dr. Yu Nari was studying more alien data. Sir, pilot Kang Mi-sun's voice came through the radio. She was Kim So-ra's best friend and wingman. Long-range sensors show the hegemony fleet moving faster. They might arrive early. Li Wu wasn't worried. Let them come. The sooner they get here, the sooner they'll learn that humans don't give up easily. He walked to the window again and looked at Pyra. The planet was beautiful, with blue oceans and green continents. More importantly, it had quantum crystals that could power human ships for centuries. The aliens wanted to take it just because they could, because they thought humans were too weak to stop them. But they were wrong about humans. Humans had survived ice ages and wars and disasters on Earth. They had learned to adapt and overcome. They had learned that sometimes the best way to win was to not fight the way the enemy expected. Park Jin, show me what you have in mind for those modifications, Li Wu said. The engineer smiled. Well, sir, the hegemony shields are designed to stop direct attacks, but what if we don't attack directly? Explain. Their shields work like walls, very strong against frontal assault. But walls have weak points, corners, joints, overlapping sections. If we attack from multiple angles at the same time, we might punch through. Dr. Yu Nari looked up from her tablet. The hegemony considers multi-angle attacks to be dishonorable. They would never expect it. Perfect, Li Wu said. What else? Kim So-ra stepped forward. Sir, my squadron has been practicing formation flying. We can move like a flock of birds all together but unpredictable. Their targeting computers might have trouble following us. Li Wu felt hope growing in his chest. This might actually work. Humans had always been good at finding new ways to solve old problems. Now they would find a new way to fight an old enemy. All right, everyone. We have less than 2 days to prepare. Kim So-ra, get your pilots ready for bird formation flying. Park Jin, start those modifications. Dr. Yu, I want to know everything about how the hegemony thinks. Han Do-kyung, prepare the ground defenses. Yes, sir, they all said together. Essie, his team left to prepare. Li Wu remained at the window. The stars looked peaceful, but he knew war was coming. The hegemony thought they would crush humanity easily. They thought humans were just another minor species to be conquered. They were about to learn how wrong they were. High Overlord Vextar stood on the command deck of his massive warship. The ship was 3 times larger than any human vessel, and its hull gleamed with polished metal. Around him, alien officers worked at their stations with precise movements. Everything was orderly and proper, just as it should be. Report, Vextar commanded. His voice was deep and cold. Warcast Drakmal stepped forward. He was the fleet's battle leader, covered in ceremonial armor that showed his many victories. High Overlord, we will reach the human world in 6 hours. Our scouts report only 42 enemy ships. Vextar made a sound that might have been laughter. 42 ships? The humans dare to resist us with 42 ships? He turned to look at the main screen, which showed Pyra growing larger as they approached. This will be over quickly. Meanwhile, Captain Kim So-ra floated in space inside her fighter cockpit. Around her, the other ships of Storm Squadron waited in the shadow of a large asteroid. They had been hiding here for 12 hours, and Kim So-ra's muscles were tense from staying. Alert. Storm Leader, this is Storm 7, came pilot Kang Mi-sun's voice through the radio. I see them. The alien fleet just appeared on long-range sensors. Kim So-ra looked at her own sensors. The enemy ships appeared as red dots, moving in perfect formation toward Pyra. There were so many dots that they looked like a red cloud. I count 296 ships, she whispered. Storm Leader, should we attack? Asked another pilot. No, Kim So-ra said firmly. We wait for Commander Lee's signal. Stay hidden and stay ready. On Pyra's surface, Sergeant Han Do-kyung crouched behind an energy barrier outside Mining Station 7. His soldiers were spread across the rocky hills waiting. The quantum crystal mines glowed with blue light behind them. Sergeant, called Private Lee Young from his position. The alien ships are almost here. Should we power up the defensive guns? Han Do-kyung shook his head. Not yet. Let them think. We're not ready. Commander Lee wants them to feel confident. In the engineering section of the Defender, Park Jin worked with fevered energy. His hands moved quickly over the weapon controls, making final adjustments to his modifications. Sparks flew from damaged panels, but he ignored them. "Park, how much longer?" asked Dr. Yunari. She stood nearby, watching alien behavior patterns on her screen. "Almost finished," Park Jin said without looking up. "The weapon modifications are complete. Now I just need to link them to the targeting system." He paused and wiped sweat from his forehead. "Dr. Yu, are you sure about the alien attack patterns?" "Positive," she replied. "The hegemony always attacks in 3 waves. First, the heavy ships to break enemy lines, then the medium ships to control space. Finally, the fast ships to finish any survivors. Very predictable." Commander Li Wu stood on the bridge, watching the enemy fleet approach on the main screen. The alien ships moved in perfect rows, like soldiers marching. Beautiful and terrifying at the same time. "Sir," reported the sensor officer, "the hegemony fleet is slowing down. They're forming attack formation." Li Wu nodded. "Right on schedule. They want to look impressive before they attack." He pressed a button on his chair. "All ships, this is Commander Li. Prepare for Operation Hornets. Nest." The hegemony fleet stopped moving and arranged itself in a wide line facing Pyra. Each ship was in its proper place, weapons pointed forward, shields at full power. It was exactly what Dr. Yu Nari had predicted. High Overlord Vextar smiled as he looked at his fleet formation. "Perfect. Signal the humans. Tell them to surrender now and we will allow them to leave peacefully." The communication reached the defender a few minutes later. Li Wu listened to the alien voice speaking in heavily accented English. "Human. Commander, you are outnumbered 7-1. Surrender your ships and abandon the planet Pyra. You have 10 minutes to comply." Li Wu looked around his bridge. His officers waited for his response. He pressed the communication button. "This is Commander Li Wu of Earth Defense Force. Pyra is a human world and we will defend it. If you want it, come and take it." The communication ended. Warcast Drakmal looked at High Overlord Vextar in surprise. "They refuse to surrender? But they must know they cannot win." "Foolish humans," Vextar said. "Very well. Begin the attack. First wave, advance." The heavy alien ships moved forward in a straight line. Their plasma cannons began to charge with blue light. Everything was proceeding according to standard hegemony battle doctrine. "Sir," the sensor officer on the Defender reported. "First wave approaching. 24 heavy cruisers." Li Wu smiled. "Now we see if our plan works. All human ships, execute Operation Hornet's Nest. Kim Sora, you're clear to engage." Captain Kim Sora felt her heart beat faster. "Storm Squadron, this is it. Break cover and attack, formation bird scatter." The asteroid suddenly came alive as human ships powered up and flew out from hiding places. But instead of flying in straight lines like proper warships, they moved in chaotic patterns. Some ships flew high, others low. Some moved left, others right. They looked like angry hornets leaving a disturbed nest. Warcast Drakmal stared at his sensors in confusion. "What are they doing? This is not proper battle formation." High Overlord Vextar frowned. "It doesn't matter. Our guns will destroy them anyway." All ships opened fire. The alien weapons fired, but their targeting computers couldn't keep up with the chaotic human movements. Plasma bolts flew through empty space where human ships had been a second before. The humans were flying like they were crazy, but somehow they avoided most of the enemy fire. "Now Park Jin," Li Wu commanded. Park Jin's modifications activated. Instead of firing straight at the enemy shields, human weapons fired at angles. Multiple beams hit each alien ship from different directions at the same time. The hegemony, shields designed to stop direct attacks, began to flicker and fail. "Impossible!" Warcast Drakmal shouted. "Their weapons are not penetrating our shields directly. How are they causing damage?" Dr. Yunari's voice came through the communication system. "Commander, the aliens are confused. Their tactical computers can't process our attack patterns." The first alien ship exploded as its shields collapsed under the angled attack. Then, a second ship died and a third. The perfect hegemony formation began to break apart as captains tried to turn their ships to face the unpredictable human attacks. "Sir," pilot Kang Mi-sun's excited voice came through the radio. "It's working. They can't hit us." But Kim So-ra remained focused. "Stay sharp, Storm Squadron. This is just the first wave." High Overlord Vextar watched in growing anger as his heavy ships retreated in disorder. Half of them were damaged or destroyed. "How is this possible? They're using dishonorable tactics." "Sir," Warcast Drakmol said carefully, "perhaps we should adapt our strategy." "No." Vextar slammed his fist on the command console. "We will not lower ourselves to fight like barbarians. Send in the second wave. Crush them with proper force." The Makr, medium alien ships moved forward, trying to restore order to the battle. But the humans continued their chaotic attacks, striking from unexpected angles and disappearing before the aliens could respond effectively. Commander Li Wu watched the battle unfold and allowed himself a small smile. The plan was working better than he had hoped. The aliens were so committed to fighting properly that they couldn't adapt to human creativity. "Sir," the communication officer called out. "Message from Sergeant Han on the surface. Alien landing. Crafter approaching Mining Station 7. Li Wu's smile faded. The space battle was going well, but now the real test would begin on the planet's surface. "Tell Han he's cleared to engage. Show them how humans fight on the ground." The battle, for Pyra, was just beginning. Sergeant Han Do-kyung watched through his binoculars as alien landing craft dropped from the sky like metal rain. Each craft was the size of a building and carried at least 50 alien soldiers. He counted 12 craft heading toward Mining Station 7. "All units, this is Sergeant Han," he spoke into his radio. "Enemy landing in sectors 4 through 7. Remember your training. Let them come to us." Private Li Young shifted nervously behind his rock cover. "Sergeant, shouldn't we shoot at their ships while they're landing?" "No," Han replied calmly. "We want them to land. It's harder to fight an enemy you can't reach." He had studied Earth's military history carefully. The best way to fight a stronger enemy was to choose where and how to fight them. The alien landing craft touched down in the valley below the mining station. Doors opened and alien soldiers marched out in perfect formation. They were tall beings, with gray skin and angular faces, wearing advanced armor that gleamed in Pyra's sunlight. Warcast Drakmol led the ground assault personally. He was angry about the space battle and wanted to restore hegemony honor. "Form battle lines," he commanded his soldiers. "We advance on the human positions in proper order." The alien soldiers arranged themselves in neat rows and began marching up the hill toward the mining station. Their weapons were held at exactly the same angle. Each step was in perfect time with the others. It looked like a parade, but with deadly weapons. Han Do-kyung smiled as he watched them approach. "Wait for it," he told his soldiers through the radio. "Let them get close." High above, the space battle continued. Captain Kim So-ra's storm squadron had destroyed half of the hegemony's second wave, but more alien ships kept coming. Her fighter twisted through space, dodging plasma bolts while firing at enemy weak points. "Storm 7, watch your left," she called to pilot Kang Mi-sun as an alien ship tried to ram her friend's fighter. Kang Mi-sun rolled her ship away from the attack and fired back. "Thanks, Storm Leader. These aliens are getting angry." On the bridge of the Defender, Commander Li Wu watched the battle displays with growing concern. The humans were winning, but slowly. The hegemony had so many ships that even destroying 3 alien vessels for every human loss might not be enough. "Sir?" Dr. Yunari called from her station. "I'm detecting unusual energy readings from the hegemony command ship. They might be preparing a forbidden weapon." Li Wu's blood turned cold. Forbidden weapons were banned by galactic law because they could destroy entire planets. How long until they can fire? "Unknown, sir. But the energy buildup suggests something very powerful." High Overlord Vextar stood before a sealed weapons console on his command ship. The device was covered with warning symbols in many languages. "Open the plasma bombardment system," he ordered. Warcast Drakmal's voice came through the communication from the planet's surface. "High Overlord, that weapon is forbidden by treaty. It will kill everything on the planet, including our own soldiers." The humans have humiliated us long enough, Vextar replied coldly. Recall our ground forces. We will burn this world clean and take the crystals from the ashes. But Warcast Drakmol had his own problems on the surface. The human soldiers had vanished. One moment they were visible behind their barriers, the next moment they were gone. The alien advance continued up the empty hill. Where did they go? Asked one alien soldier. Keep formation, Drakmol ordered. They must be hiding in the mining buildings. That's when the ground exploded. Sergeant Han Do-kyung had placed explosive charges under the path where the aliens would march. As the perfect alien formation reached the trigger point, he pressed the button. The hillside erupted in fire and flying rock. Alien soldiers scattered in confusion as more explosions went off around them. The humans had dug tunnels under the battlefield and filled them with mining explosives. Each blast was perfectly timed to create maximum chaos. Now, Han shouted. Human soldiers appeared from hidden positions all around the valley. They fired from behind rocks, from inside artificial caves, from concealed bunkers that looked like natural hills. The aliens found themselves surrounded by enemies they couldn't see clearly. This is not honorable combat, Warcast Drakmol roared as he tried to reorganize his scattered forces. Han Do-kyung's voice echoed from speakers hidden around the battlefield. Honor doesn't stop bullets, alien. Welcome to human warfare. The battle on the surface turned into chaos. Alien soldiers tried to form defensive lines, but human soldiers appeared and disappeared like ghosts. They used the rocky terrain to hide, fired from unexpected angles, and employed traps that the honor-bound aliens would never consider using. Meanwhile, in the engineering section of the Defender, Park Jin was working on his greatest creation yet. Dr. Yunari had brought him data about the quantum crystals, and he had an idea that might change everything. The crystals resonate with certain energy frequencies, he explained to Dr. Yu as he worked. If I can tune our weapons to match that frequency, we might be able to use the planet itself as a weapon. Is that possible? Dr. Yu asked. With human engineering, anything is possible, Park replied with a grin. The aliens think logically about how things should work. Humans think creatively about how things could work. High Overlord Vextar's forbidden weapon was almost ready to fire. The plasma bombardment system could turn the entire surface of Pyra into molten rock. All hegemony forces, withdraw to safe distance. Prepare to fire planetary bombardment weapon. Commander, Li Wu received the withdrawal order through intercepted alien communications. They're going to destroy the planet, he said grimly. All human ships full retreat. Get as far from Pyra as possible. But Captain Kim So-ra had a different idea. Commander, what if we don't retreat? What if we attack their command ship before they can fire? That's suicide, Kim So-ra. Their command ship has the strongest shields in the fleet. Not if Park Jin's modifications work the way he says they will. Li Wu looked at the tactical display. The hegemony command ship was massive and heavily defended, but it was also moving, slowly as it positioned itself for planetary bombardment. Park, can your weapon modifications penetrate command ship shields? Park Jin's voice came through the communication system from engineering. Sir, I've been working on something special. The quantum crystals on Pyra can be weaponized if we hit them with the right frequency. But I need someone to get close to the planet while I make the final adjustments. How close? Kim So-ra asked. Atmosphere close, inside the planet's shield. Grid. Pilot Kang Mi-sun's voice joined the conversation. Storm Leader, that's crazy. The planet is covered with explosions from the ground battle. Kim So-ra was already turning her fighter toward Pyra. Crazy is what humans do best. Storm Squadron, follow me in. We're going to give Park the targeting data he needs. Dr. Yunari, watch the quantum crystal energy readings on her screen. The crystals were responding to the vibrations from the explosions on the surface. Park, the battle is creating resonance patterns in the crystal matrix. If you can amplify those patterns. I see it, Park shouted. The whole planet is becoming a tuning fork. Give me 2 more minutes. High Overlord Vextar's weapon was ready. Fire planetary bombardment, he commanded. But just as the weapon began to charge, every quantum crystal on Pyra started glowing. The glow grew brighter and brighter until the entire planet looked like a blue star. Then beams of pure energy shot. out from the planet's surface, striking every alien ship in the fleet. The hegemony shields, designed to stop external attacks, couldn't defend against energy that came from inside their own defensive perimeter. Ship after ship exploded as the quantum crystal beams found them. "Impossible!" Vextar screamed as his own ship's shields failed. "How did they turn the planet into a weapon?" Commander Li Wu smiled as he watched the alien fleet burn. "They asked how. That's their mistake. Humans don't ask how. We ask why not." The forbidden weapon fired once before Vextar's ship was destroyed, but its blast was absorbed by the quantum crystal matrix and redirected harmlessly into space. Pyra had become its own shield. In the sudden silence after the battle, Captain Kim Sora's voice came through the radio. "Storm Squadron to all human forces, the sky is clear. Repeat, the sky is clear." Sergeant Han Do-kyung looked up from the battlefield at the glowing planet above. "Nice work, Park Jin. You just gave us the biggest gun in the galaxy." But the victory came with a cost. As the crystal energy faded, damage reports started coming, and pilot Kang Mi-sun's fighter had been caught in one of the energy beams. Her ship was badly damaged and she was unconscious in her cockpit. The Battle of Pyra was won, but Captain Kim Sora's best friend was fighting for her life. Captain Kim Sora floated beside pilot Kang Mi-sun's medical bed in the Defender's sickbay. Her best friend was unconscious, her body burned by quantum crystal energy. Machines beeped quietly as they monitored Mi-sun's vital signs. "The doctors say she'll recover," said Dr. Yu Nari softly as she entered the medical room. "But it will take time." Kim Sora didn't look away from her friend's pale face. "She was protecting my fighter when the crystal beam hit her. This should have been me lying here." "She made her choice," Dr. Yu replied. "Just like you would have made the same choice for her." Commander Li Wu's voice came through the ship's communication system. "All senior officers to the bridge immediately. We have a situation." Kim Sora touched Mi-sun's hand gently, then followed Dr. Yu to the bridge. When they arrived, they found Li Wu staring at a large display screen showing star maps from across the galaxy. "What's happening, sir?" Kim Sora asked. "News of our victory at Pyra has spread," Li Wu replied. "Look at this." He pressed a button, and red lights began appearing on the star map. Each light represented a planet or system where fighting had started. Park Jin whistled softly. "How many worlds?" 47 so far, Li Wu said. "Species that have been under hegemony rule for centuries are declaring independence. They're asking for human help to fight their own battles." Sergeant Han Do-kyung joined them on the bridge, still wearing his dirty combat armor from the surface battle. "Sir, are we going to help them?" Before Li Wu could answer, another voice spoke from the communication system. "This is Admiral Choi. Been calling from Earth. Commander Lee, you need to see this message we received an hour ago." The screen changed to show a recording of an alien creature Kim Sora had never seen before. The being had blue skin and 4 arms, and its eyes held desperate hope. "People of Earth," the alien said in careful English. "I am Ambassador Keth of the Morian Republic. We have been slaves of the hegemony for 200 years. Your victory at Pyra has given us courage to fight for our freedom. Please, will you help us? We offer you all our knowledge of hegemony weaknesses in exchange for military assistance." The recording ended. Admiral Choi Bin appeared on the screen again. "Commander, we've received similar messages from 30 other species. The galactic balance of power has shifted overnight." Li Wu rubbed his forehead. "Admiral, our fleet took heavy damage at Pyra. We have only 23 ships still combat ready." "I know," Admiral Choi replied. "That's why I'm sending reinforcements. Admiral Yoon Jae-ho is leaving Earth tomorrow with 50 fresh ships and full supplies." Dr. Yu Nari stepped forward. "Sir, there's something else. Our intelligence teams have been monitoring hegemony communications. High Overlord Vextar survived the battle. He escaped in a damaged ship and is rallying the remaining hegemony fleets." "How many ships does he still have?" Kim Sora asked. "Over 1,000. Dr. Yu replied quietly. The bridge fell silent. 1,000 ships was more than the entire human space fleet combined. Even with alien allies, the odds seemed impossible. Park Jin broke the silence. Sir, I've been thinking about the quantum crystal weapon. What if we could reproduce it on other planets? Li Wu looked interested. Explain. Not every world has quantum crystals, but many planets have other energy sources. Volcanic activity, magnetic fields, natural gas deposits. With human engineering, we might be able to weaponize those too. That would take time, Sergeant Han pointed out. Time we might not have. Admiral Choi Bin leaned forward on the screen. Commander, Earth Command has made a decision. We're forming the Galactic Liberation Alliance. Humanity will provide military leadership and training to any species willing to fight for their freedom. Sir, Kim Sora said, with respect, we're not ready for a galactic war. We've fought one battle. One battle that changed everything, Li Wu replied. The aliens think they know how to fight, but they've never faced human tactics spread across multiple species and worlds. 3 days later, the human reinforcement fleet arrived at Pyra. Admiral Yoon Jae-ho was an older man with gray hair and calm eyes. He brought not just ships but also supplies and specialists who could help other species adapt human fighting methods. Commander Lee, Admiral Yoon said as they met in the Defenders conference room. Earth Command wants you to remain in overall tactical command. I'll handle logistics and coordination. Thank you, sir. We'll need every advantage we can get. The conference room door opened and representatives from 12 different alien species entered. Kim Sora stared in amazement. She had never seen so many different types of intelligent life in one place. Ambassador Keth of the Morians spoke first. Commander Lee, our people are ready to fight, but we need weapons and training. A tall, thin alien with silver skin added, The Zilani offer our stealth technology in exchange for human tactical knowledge. More voices joined in, each species offering their unique abilities. Some had advanced sensors. Others had fast ships or powerful shields. A few had weapons the hegemony had never encountered. Dr. Yunari took notes rapidly. This is incredible. Each species has technologies that complement human tactics. Together, we might actually have a chance. Park Jin was especially excited about the technological exchanges. Commander, if we combine Zilani stealth tech with Morian sensors and human weapons modifications, we could create ships that are nearly invisible and completely unpredictable. How long would that take? Li Wu asked. With all these species working together? Maybe 2 weeks for the first prototypes. Sergeant Han studied tactical displays showing hegemony troop movements. Sir, the aliens are massing forces at the Corvin system. If they control Corvin, they can cut off half the rebellion worlds from each other. Li Wu looked at the star map. Corvin was a strategic choke point between two major galactic arms. When will they attack? Intelligence suggests 10 days, Han replied. That gives us barely enough time to prepare our new alliance fleet, Admiral Yoon said. Kim Sora had been quiet during the discussion, but now she spoke up. Sir, I request permission to lead the first joint squadron, human and alien pilots, working together. Are you ready for that responsibility? Li Wu asked. Kim Sora thought about Mi Sun, still recovering in the medical bay. She thought about all the alien worlds calling for help. Yes, sir. Someone has to show them that different species can fight as one. Dr. Yunari added, the psychological impact would be enormous. If the hegemony sees humans and aliens fighting together effectively, it will terrify them. They've spent centuries keeping species separated and suspicious of each other. Li Wu made his decision. Very well. Kim Sora, you'll command the first integrated squadron. Pick the best pilots from every species. Over the next week, Pyra became the center of a military revolution. Human engineers worked with alien scientists to create new weapons. Human pilots trained with alien flyers to develop joint tactics. Human soldiers taught guerrilla warfare to beings who had never considered fighting unfairly. The hegemony response came sooner than expected. High Overlord Vextar, now commanding from a new flagship, sent a message to all rebel worlds. Surrender immediately, his cold voice said. The humans tricked you at Pyra, but their luck will not last. We have assembled the largest fleet in galactic history. Surrender now and we will show mercy. Continue this rebellion, and we will destroy every world that has aided them. Commander Li Wu recorded his own response. Hi, Overlord Vextar. This is Commander Li Wu. You call us lucky. You call our allies foolish, but you still don't understand what you're fighting. You're not fighting just humans anymore. You're fighting the idea that freedom is worth any risk. And that idea is stronger than any fleet. The message was broadcast across the galaxy. On 100 worlds, beings who had lived in fear for generations listened to a human tell the most powerful empire in history that they would not surrender. Pilot Kang Mi-sun opened her eyes in the medical bay just as the message ended. She was weak, but her mind was clear. Did we win? She asked the medical officer. The first battle, yes, the officer replied. But the real war is just beginning. Mi-sun smiled. Good. I'd hate to miss it. Outside the medical bay windows, ships from a dozen species prepared for the battle that would decide the fate of the galaxy. The hegemony was coming with everything they had. But they would face something they had never encountered before. A united galaxy fighting for its freedom, led by humans who refused to accept that any fight was impossible to win. The combined fleet of the Galactic Liberation Alliance gathered in space near the Corvin system. Over 300 ships from 15 different species floated together in formations that would have been impossible just months before. Human destroyers flew alongside Morian stealth ships. Zilani fighters practiced maneuvers with Storm Squadron pilots. Captain Kim So-ra stood in the fighter bay of the new command ship Unity, watching her integrated squadron prepare for battle. Human pilot Kang Mi-sun, finally recovered from her injuries, was checking her fighter systems next to a blue-skinned Morian pilot named Keith Lin. Strange to see them working together so naturally, said Dr. Yu Nari as she joined Kim So-ra. Humans adapt fast, Kim So-ra replied. But I think we're all learning that we're not so different from other species when it comes to wanting freedom. Commander Li Wu's voice came through the ship's communication system. All commanders to the bridge. Final briefing in 5 minutes. The bridge of the Unity was larger than any human ship built before. It needed to be, because representatives from every allied species stood around the central holographic display. The display showed the Corvin system and the massive hegemony fleet approaching it. Intelligence reports confirmed that High Overlord Vextar is leading personally, Admiral Yoon Jae-ho announced. 1,200 ships, the largest military force ever assembled. Ambassador Keth of the Morians studied the tactical display. They're using traditional formation again. 3 waves, heavy ships first. Even after Pyra, they haven't learned, Sergeant Han Do-kyung observed from his position. They still think proper formation will win. Park Jin, now bearing the title of Chief Engineer for the Alliance, pointed to energy readings on the display. Sir, I'm detecting something unusual. The hegemony command ship is generating massive power levels, much more than needed for normal weapons. Dr. Yu Nari's expression turned worried. They might have developed a new super weapon after seeing what we did with the quantum crystals. Li Wu studied the incoming enemy fleet. Doesn't matter what new weapons they have. We have something they still don't understand. We have unity between species that choose to fight together. The Zilani representative, a tall being with silver skin named Veltor, spoke in his musical voice. Commander Li, our stealth ships are in position. The hegemony fleet cannot detect them. Good, Li Wu replied. All forces, execute Operation Freedom Storm. Show them what a united galaxy can do. High Overlord Vextar stood on the bridge of his new flagship, the Eternal Dominion. The ship was twice the size of his previous vessel, built specifically to carry the hegemony's newest weapon, a reality disruption cannon that could destroy entire fleets by tearing holes in space itself. High Overlord, Warcast Drakmal reported. Our scouts detect the rebel fleet. They appear to be using the same chaotic tactics as at Pyra. Vextar smiled coldly. Let them play their games. Today we end this rebellion permanently. Prepare the reality cannon. The hegemony fleet moved forward in perfect formation, just as they always had. But this time, something was different. As their heavy ships advanced, they found themselves facing not just human vessels, but in coordinated, attack from species they had never fought before. Morian stealth ships appeared from nowhere, striking at exposed flanks. Zilani fighters moved so fast they seemed to teleport between attacks. Other allied species used weapons and tactics the hegemony had never encountered. "This is impossible," Drakmal shouted as his tactical displays showed enemy ships appearing and disappearing across the battlefield. How are there so many of them? But the real surprise came when the hegemony tried to use their standard counter tactics. Every time they moved to block one species' attack, another species hit them from a different angle. The humans had taught their allies not just individual tactics but how to coordinate with each other. Captain Kim So-ra led her integrated squadron through the chaos of battle. Human, Morian, and Zilani fighters moved together like a single organism. "Storm Squadron, take the high approach. Morian wing, hit their flanks. Zilani fighters, use your speed to confuse their targeting." Pilot Kang Mi-sun's voice came through the radio, excited and clear. "Storm Leader, their formation is breaking apart. They can't handle multiple attack styles at once." The first wave of hegemony ships retreated in disorder, just as they had at Pyra. But this time the scale was much larger. Hundreds of alien ships fled as the Alliance forces demonstrated that humans had not just won one lucky battle, but had started a military revolution. High Overlord Vextar watched his fleets retreat with growing rage. "Enough! Prepare the reality cannon. We will destroy them all at once." The massive weapon began to charge, creating a visible distortion in space around the Eternal Dominion. Energy readings spiked to levels that made nearby hegemony ships move away in fear. But Park Jin had been monitoring those energy readings from his position on the Unity. "Commander Lee, that weapon they're charging will tear a hole in space big enough to destroy both fleets." Dr. Yu Nari ran calculations on her computer. "If they fire that weapon, the space around Corvin will become unstable. Ships, planets, everything in this system could be destroyed." Li Wu realized the terrible truth. They'd rather destroy everything than lose to us. All ships, maximum distance from the hegemony command ship. But evacuation would take time, and the reality? Cannon was almost ready to fire. The Alliance fleet began to retreat, but many ships were still too close to escape the weapon's effect. "Sir," Kim So-ra's voice came through the communication. "What if we don't retreat? What if we attack their command ship directly?" "Kim So-ra, that ship has the strongest defenses in their fleet, and if we get close when that weapon fires, then we make sure it doesn't fire." Admiral Yoon Jae-ho looked at the tactical display. "Commander, she's right. If we can destroy their command ship before the weapon charges fully, we save the entire system." Park Jin's voice joined the conversation from engineering. "I can overload our quantum crystal modifications, turn our entire ship into a giant version of what we did at Pyra. But someone needs to get us close to their command ship first." Li Wu looked around the bridge at representatives from 15 different species, all watching him make the decision that would determine the fate of the rebellion. "All ships except the volunteer attack force retreat to minimum safe distance. Integrated squadron, you're with me. We're going to show the hegemony what real unity can accomplish." The attack force consisted of just 30 ships, but they represented the best of every species in the Alliance. They flew toward the massive hegemony command ship as its reality cannon neared full charge. "This is madness," Warcast Drakmal said as he watched the small force approach. "They cannot possibly penetrate our defenses." But High Overlord Vextar felt a cold fear in his chest. "Fire everything at them. Do not let them reach us." The hegemony ships fired with every weapon they had, but the Alliance attack force moved like nothing they had ever seen. Ships from different species covered each other using combined tactics that no single fleet could counter. "Now park," Li Wu commanded as the Unity broke through the defensive line. Park Jin triggered his modifications, and the Unity became a focusing lens for quantum energy. Instead of destroying the hegemony command ship, the energy beam disabled the reality cannon just as it was about to fire. The weapon's incomplete discharge created a chain reaction that destroyed the Eternal Dominion and dozens of nearby hegemony ships. High Overlord Vextar's last words were lost in the explosion. In the silence that followed, the remaining hegemony ships stopped fighting. Without their supreme commander and his flagship, The rigid alien hierarchy collapsed. Ship after ship broadcast surrender signals. Captain Kim Sora's voice came through the radio to all Alliance forces. "This is Integrated Squadron Leader. The enemy command ship is destroyed. Repeat, enemy command is destroyed." Cheers erupted across the Alliance fleet, broadcast in dozens of languages from dozens of species. But Commander Li Wu felt no celebration yet. "Admiral Yoon, what's the status of surviving hegemony forces?" "Sir, over 600 alien ships are requesting terms of surrender. Their entire command structure has collapsed without Vextar." Dr. Yu Nari was monitoring communications from across the galaxy. "Commander, we're receiving reports from every sector. Hegemony forces everywhere are laying down weapons. The news of Vextar's defeat is spreading faster than light-speed communication." Sergeant Han Do-kyung joined them on the bridge, grinning widely. "Sir, we just received a message from Hegemony Central Command. They're offering unconditional surrender and requesting negotiations for a new galactic government." Li Wu finally allowed himself to smile. "Signal all ships. The war is over. The galaxy is free." 1 year later, Commander Li Wu, now promoted to Admiral, stood on the observation deck of Pyra Station. The planet below had become the capital of the new Galactic Federation, and ships from hundreds of species came and went in peaceful trade. Captain Kim Sora approached, wearing the uniform of the Federation's new integrated defense force. "Sir, the council meeting went well. 47 new species have requested membership this month." "Any problems with integration?" Li Wu asked. "Nothing we can't handle. Humans are good teachers, and the other species are eager to learn."